Welcome to the What's Haunting You podcast, where we work on healing that which haunts us. With me, Micah. So I'm going to get cozy. I want to talk about dreams. Let's talk about dreams. So this is Micah's What's Haunting You podcast. And today, this week, dreams are haunting me. And dreams haunt me a lot. I don't know if it's because I have a lot of Pisces in my chart or what, but dreams communicate with me all the time. And I've gotten good in my 50 years of dreaming of knowing when it's just me or because, okay, let me back up. There's a lot of debate among scientists and stuff, what your dreams actually are, right? I know Carl Jung talked about how they are like a doorway to your subconscious. They will help you work through something that you need to work through. Others will minimize it even more by saying you're just trying to figure out what happened to you recently or the day before, and that's all it is. It's nothing more than that. But it impacts you so much. And I'm not saying just because your brain doesn't realize the difference of a dream in real life. Just like if you're watching a movie, your brain, like the nervous system and everything, is processing things as if it's actually happening. It doesn't distinguish the difference. This always stresses me out when I see people, especially showing pets, like horror movies and stuff, because it's traumatizing them, you know? And Americans especially love desensitizing ourselves. And then we wonder why everybody's so mean. And it's because we don't take our care of what is going in, what we consume, garbage in, garbage out, right? So I've had to be a little more disciplined with what I consume as far as entertainment is concerned because I am a sensitive person and it does affect my dreams. I can't watch zombie anything because zombie dreams are so traumatizing and they will give me bad dreams all the time. But I think one of the reasons I'm susceptible to it is because in my waking life, I am so stressed out about how zombified living human beings are, how they just kind of go through life like zombies. And it's triggering because I know I've been guilty of this myself. So usually the more you're triggered by something, the more it's about you and less about the other person, unless they're just horrible people that are doing horrible things to other people or the planet. Um, but you get my meaning, I'm sure. So I will have dreams. And if you're a dreamer, you will know what I mean. There's lucid dreams where you can actually control what's happening in the dream. There are other versions of lucid dreams where you know you're dreaming, but you also can't seem to get out of it. Those are the worst, when you can't control it, but you know you're dreaming and you want to wake yourself up and you can't wake yourself up. Those are annoying. And then I've had dreams where I don't know, am I astral traveling? I don't know, but I will see what's happening with someone else. I have held hands with a friend who's in pain, and she will message me the next day and say, I had this dream that somebody was holding my hand because I'm going through something really difficult. And I was like, that happened with me and a friend, and I think I might have messaged her first and said that I dreamt about her and I wanted to check in on her, and she said that's funny because I had a dream that someone was holding my hand, and she described the dream and it was exactly what I was dreaming. So we're our etheric selves holding hands and meeting because we're in different states. I don't know. I But I have seen, and that's just one example, but I have been able to watch other people and what they're doing and then connect with them, and I'm witnessing something they're going through. Usually if it's an intense emotional moment, that's usually when my etheric self decides to travel and check in on them. Not in a creepy way, I hope. It just happens. And I have yet to know how to control that entirely. But I also have had loved ones who have passed, not my loved ones, but someone else's loved ones, come and give me a message that I need to convey to somebody I know, which has been interesting. Um, like, and those are always tricky too, because usually you aren't supposed to just tell people things if you get messages because they don't always want or need to hear it. Um, and most of the time, unfortunately, people have an expectation of who they're going to hear from if you're doing any kind of like psychic reading or anything, and what they want to hear. And when you do that, it usually means you're not ready. And then either nothing comes through or something you didn't expect at all comes through to kind of test you. And then nothing comes through after that at all. So that's interesting. But the most common dreams I have, and I've had some dreams that are almost like these stories that play out something that ends up happening in the future, but I would have never understood it. But I know it when I look back in retrospect, if that makes sense. But it was preparing me for something. And I always wonder where those come from. Because if it's just your unconscious or subconscious working through something that's happening during the day, then what is it that's helping you see something that's happening while you're asleep? Or that's preparing you for something that's going to happen in metaphors. It's usually for me, it's in metaphors. But then I'll be like, what is that? But I almost feel prepared, like I'm going to have to come to a decision about something. And now I know that this decision is coming. So it doesn't like totally blindside me. And I think that those are important. And I think it's important to understand your own dreams and the messages that come with them. The most important thing would say about your own dreams is always associate your, like, whatever, write down the first top 5 things that pop into your mind, whether it's an image of something, a taste, a smell, a word, a feeling. Write the first 5 things down that pop into your head that are the most important if you're worried you're going to forget. And if you are dreaming about another person, remember that 90% of the time, some will say 100% of the time, and I don't agree with that. 90% of the time, it's an aspect of yourself that relates to that person. And you're getting a message from your unconscious or subconscious or your shadow self asking you to look deeper at some aspect of you when you think of that other person. What is it that that other person reminds you of, that you are, that you want, or that you need and you're not getting, but you see it in that other person, or you project it onto this other person. Um, and there's a lot of common dream themes that are scary when you're dreaming, but aren't really scary, kind of like death dreams. Usually, death dreams are aspects of your psyche that are dying off, or you're killing them off. I have had a lot of death dreams recently, but I know I'm in a major transformation mode. And it's other parts of other than the death that I really try to look at because that part is obvious for me. It's the other little keys that lie within the dream that help me get through the part of me that's dying away, the former me, you know? So I would like to hear more about what you want to know more about if you want to know more about dreams. I will say that each person, again, it's individual, how you dream, what you dream. If you're dreaming about other people, I feel like, because that's a question I get a lot. How do you know if I'm dreaming about somebody else and it's an aspect of me, or if it's a dead loved one, if it's an aspect of me, or if they're visiting me, or what do other people mean in my dreams? And my first the first thing I'm going to say, and the most important thing is, you know already. You're just doubting it or second guessing it because you're afraid of the answer or you want a different answer. One of those two things is true. So maybe you're dreaming of a dead loved one and you know it's not a visit, it's just you missing them, but you want it to be a visit. So you're doubting it. So you're asking the question, right? I've had dreams where I feel like I'm being visited, but I've had recurring dreams of one of my grandparents that I miss desperately. I know she's not visiting, but now I know, I think, because the theme of the dream was the same over and over. I was dreaming about going through her things after she passed, which I didn't do in real life. And she had gotten rid of most of her things before she passed and given me things. So it didn't ever make sense. But then recently, my mother in law passed away, and I had to go through all her things. And I was reminded of all those recurring dreams. And it was like I was being reminded something was preparing me for that. Maybe on some level, I knew I was the one that would have to go through her things and sort through everything, or maybe some guide or something was helping me prepare subconsciously and unconsciously so I could get through it and help Jim, my fiance husband, get through it. Um, he's my husband, just not legally yet. So that's why there's always that confusion. I will refer to him as my husband often and my fiance until we're legally married, just for clarity's sake for everybody else. But I think that understanding your own dreams is critical. And I think I don't journal them as well as I should. I do the impactful ones, but a lot of them just feel like mundane. That was because I watched this before I went to bed, you know, or a combination. The other night I had these wild, insane dreams, but I know it was because I watched two different shows that influenced it, and something else happened during the day. And all of these things kind of culminated into this chaotic, insane dream that would have made a great movie, but it was just me playing out the daily grind. But you know, in your soul of souls, your gut of guts, when it's something more significant. And those are the ones you need to document. Those are the ones you need to really investigate. And if you need help with those, then have somebody help you with those. There's dream coaches out there. I'd be happy to help somebody work through their dreams if they wanted it. It's not something I regularly do, um, but I do get a lot of people asking me about that, especially if somebody has passed and that person is showing up in their dreams. It's really important to ground yourself and find ways to know the difference of a visit dream. And I always wonder too, are our ancestors using those who have passed to relate to, because we can relate to an aspect of that person that we were close to help us with something that's coming, to help us kind of prime us for something so we can get through it, you know? These are all very interesting things that I think about all the time. And because this is an important time period to do shadow work, eclipse season is very important. Shadow work cues will show up in your dreams. I will also tell you that if you're not a dreamer and if you have trouble remembering dreams, body work helps with that. If you get some kind of energy work, massages even will help. But any kind of cranial work, the woman who got me started in cranial sacral therapy, she actually, I do cranial unwinding. She was a full-blown cranial sacral therapist that studied it for years. She worked on cadaver brains. I mean, she was way legitimate. I'm an assessor of sorts that help, I guide people, but that was like all she did was cranial sacral therapy. And she worked on people who had never dreamed in their lives, and they were able to get dreams back. I am very good at putting people to sleep. I don't know if that's a compliment to me or not, but anybody who's had insomnia will come and get body work from me, and they will have the best sleep of their life. Sometimes dreamless though. But if you're a big dreamer like I am, I have had times where I've had to do like pray and make herbal teas and tinctures and do different things around my sleep schedule to try to quiet the dreams because they get so noisy. Again, your brain doesn't realize when the dreams are really intense, it thinks it's going the body thinks it's going through all of that, so you'll wake up exhausted. And there's one other point I want to make about exes showing up in your dreams because this comes up a lot in discussion groups and stuff. Exes showing up in dreams for me always represents, not always, a lot of the time represents an archetype of sorts that that person has become in my life. So even if I'm not attached to them or they're not attached to me, I've done cord cutting. I've done every energetic clearing I can possibly do. I have done the therapy work. I've done everything you can possibly think of. There are a few explanations I have for when somebody, an ex, shows up in your dreams. Mercury's retrograde, and, and there's a new layer of something associated with your relationship with that person in the past that you're ready to work through that you've been putting off. And your sub or unconscious shadow self is telling you it's time to look at this layer and it's time to work through it. You're ready to heal a new layer of this. It's also because you are still connected to them on some level, especially if you've been physically intimate, you've shared DNA, then they are going to show up in your dreams for a while. And you have to accept that and maybe not read too much into it. There's also, they might be thinking about you. They aren't crossing your mind at all. It's been a long time, but maybe you're on their mind. And a lot of times, if it feels like they're dominating the dream, that's usually when I feel like they're thinking about me. Like they're really, and not just thinking, but like feeling what it was like to be with me. They're really in a sentimental, nostalgic place or something. And that's why they're visiting me. Because I think we visit each other when we sleep too, which is another topic for another day. But energetic hygiene. You are the most vulnerable when you sleep. So you need to make sure that you are clearing your energy and sealing off your energy and having healthy boundaries when you go to sleep, before you go to sleep. Seal off your bedroom, seal off your bed, seal off your physical body. I did a video on YouTube, um, I think it was during COVID, about how to imagine your energetic body and how to create that energetic field around you and reinforce it. Even if it's just your imagination and you feel crazy, I'm telling you it works. It really does. You can lay in bed and you can just imagine and feel and tune into your toes, close your eyes, and just feel the sensation of your toes tingling. You'll start to really get good at feeling your own energy field. And then you just go up as you get real tuned in with it and what the rhythm is, then you go to your ankles and to your knees and you work your way all the way up and you'll start to a light, a color, something will come into your mind. And that is just what you need in that moment to seal yourself off. So nobody comes and visits you. If you want somebody to come visit you because you really miss them and you'd like to see them again but can't, well, then maybe skip it that night. I don't know. You didn't hear that from me. But yeah, dreams and sleep. You know, we spend so much of our life sleeping. I'm pretty sure that there are statistics out there, but isn't it like 10 years or something? You can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm doing this off the cuff just because I have the time and I'm trying to be disciplined. I will be more disciplined in the future. But look, I got to get this content out there and I want to help people and I want people to really take their dreams seriously because you're being influenced by everything around you and you're getting cues and even if you don't believe in like spiritual stuff, spiritual aspect of it, your psyche is still cluttered with everything you take in every day and your body and mind and psyche are trying to tell you what to do with it. All you have to do is listen and it would make your sleep time so much more healing and therapeutic like it should be on every level and productive, but in a good way. Like sometimes convalescing is productive because your body needs to restore itself. And in order to get through whatever it is you need to get through, sometimes just getting to work the next day, is a lot, and we need good sleep in order to do it. So take your sleep and your dreams seriously right now because they are going to help you through the challenges that may potentially come up or opportunities during this eclipse season. So, thank you for listening to my first official podcast. I know I did an intro one that wasn't really officially my podcast, but just to kind of explain to you what's up right now. But I really appreciate all your guys' support. And please do the poll if it's still up on my Patreon when you listen to this, because I'm recording this September 1st, 2025. So if the poll is still up there, please, I'll probably leave it up for the month of September. Let me know what kind of content you're most interested in hearing about so that and you can select more than one thing in those options so that I can serve you what you desire. And if you watched, then thanks. I appreciate it. That's nice of you. I hope I can make these more entertaining in the future. I can't do my makeup like Bailey Sarian, but maybe I'll think of something. Maybe you'll have an idea. I don't know. Anyway, thank you and stay tuned because hopefully within the next month I'll post another podcast. But the more ideas I get from other people, the sooner I'll be able to crank out another podcast. Thank you.